we have with us today the Jeep Grand Cherokee L. Let's check it out. Jeep Philippines brought back the Grand Cherokee earlier this year. Competing with the likes of the Toyota Land Cruiser, Prado, and Ford Explorer, this serves as the brand's flagship here in the Philippines. Let's do a review. What we have is the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited, the only variant. This is priced at 5,490,000 Philippine pesos. Looking at the outside, the Grand Cherokee looks sleek and premium and unmistakably Jeep, with the signature 7-slot grille in front. This gets multi-reflector LED headlights and LED fog lights, and since this is made for the US, we have amber side markers. The side looks clean with minimal lines but is also emphasized by one character line that connects the headlights to the taillights. This also rides on these good-looking 5-spoke 20-inch machine-finished alloy wheels wrapped in Pirelli tires. You'll also be able to tell that this is the L because it's longer at 5,204mm and the rectangular window shape at the back. And back there, it gets a bit boxier as well with a rather simple shape, though it still does look sleek with the slim wraparound full LED taillights. Once you open the power tailgate, it reveals loads of cargo space with the third row seats down, which is only available here on the L. Put them up, and you still have plenty of room as you can see. And now we're inside the Jeep Grand Cherokee L. The design over here does look very premium, very upmarket. It's very sleek, just like the exterior, and it really looks good. And the materials also are quite good with soft touch. Padded leather here on top of the dashboard with white stitching looks really nice. Then we have more soft touch materials here on the middle portion of the dashboard. Although I'm not a fan of this fake wood trim that we have over here. It feels fake when you touch it. It does look real at first, but when you touch it, it really feels fake. It's just plastic. Same goes here in the door panel, so we have soft touch on top, then that fake wood as well, and then of course leather for the armrest and as well as the door sideways. Then here in the steering wheel, we have this very big steering wheel. You can see it's huge, so yeah, it's really nice to hold. Actually, it's very thick, and the leather material used is also quite nice. We also have again that white stitching just like on the dashboard, and yeah, lots of controls over here. On the left for our instrument cluster, on the right for our adaptive cruise control settings. Then we also have paddle shifters and more controls behind the steering wheel. So we have the volume controls over here and other controls for changing music and such on the left side as well. And this is also power adjustable, so as you can see, loads of adjustment for reach and also for the height of the steering wheel, so that's very nice. Then right behind that, we have our 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster. It's very detailed actually, so you can go through the different menus and there are lots of information that you can find here, so it's very comprehensive. And there are a couple of settings as well and different kinds of views that you can choose. And we even have a heads-up display right in your field of view when you are driving, so that's very nice to have. And here in the middle, we have our 10.1-inch touchscreen infotainment system. It uses Jeep's Uconnect software, and it's actually quite easy to use. It's a very comprehensive system as well. It's very responsive. It's very easy to use. Everything that you want to find, you'd find them where you expect them to be. And again, very responsive, so there are no delays in the operation of the screen. The size is just right. The buttons, the controls are all just right as well. We have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and thankfully I have not encountered any issues with the wireless connection as of now, so that's also good because most wireless Apple CarPlay connections for me are not really good. Then on top, we have a few controls over here. So we have the temperature for our climate control, we have our heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, our camera control. So we actually have here what they call a fam cam, so it uses a lens located at the back to see everything in the back seats, so you can actually select which seat you want to view much closer, so you can watch over your children. And then moving down, we get more controls for both the infotainment and the climate control. So first, we have our volume knob over here, which is of course very nice to have. Then our tuning knob on the right side and multiple buttons for our climate control. We have a toggle for the temperature, very nice to use as well, and other buttons all around, so all good over there. Then moving down, we have this cover over here. Just open it, and inside you'll find 4 USB ports, 2 each of the USB-C and 2 of the USB-A. We also have a 12-volt power outlet inside, a wireless phone charger. Then moving back here, we have our drive mode selector. So we have auto, sport, snow, and sand or mud. Then we have here our electronic gear selector. So it's a selector dial. Not usually a fan of these, but it does work pretty well, and it also feels of very good quality. Then here, our auto hold function. Our electronic parking brake is located down here on the footwell. Then 2 cup holders and storages here under the center armrest. Storage space over here. 2 layers of that, so very nice. And also we have a panoramic sunroof, as you can see, which does bring a lot of light into this cabin. And then for the seats, we have these very nice leather seats here. They feel very comfortable, they're very soft, and they have loads of adjustment as well, so it's very easy to find the driving position in this car. And this driver seat also has memory function, so you can just set your preferred driving position for both the steering wheel and the seats, and it will record that for you. It's for 2 people, by the way. And now at the back, we do have loads of space over here, which is very nice for a family vehicle like this. So you can see leg room, knee room, all pretty good. Foot room, pretty good as well, and headroom also really good. And then we have that panoramic sunroof again, which I told you earlier makes things a lot brighter. It makes it also feel a lot more spacious than it already is. Then for these seats, I do think that they are a bit flat. They actually remind me a lot of the seats of the Wrangler, and I think they also lack a bit of thigh support. So you can see that my legs have a little bit of space over here, and that's not really comfortable. But the seats themselves, because they're soft, actually are a bit comfortable in general. Just like the front seats, they are heated, but unfortunately they're not ventilated. Then we also have here our aircon vents, 2 of them. We have the controls on top, so this is actually a tri-zone climate control, 2 for the front and 1 for the back. We have a display over there, different modes as well, lots of settings over there. Then below we have a household power outlet, so we have that over there. And we have 4 USB ports again, just like in front, so 2 USB-C and 2 USB-A. And lastly, before we go to the back, we have these sunshades, which I really like this on every car that has them. So very nice to have. It does help with not only with privacy, but also with protecting you from sunlight. And since this is the L, we do have a 3rd row seat, and this is still best reserved for children, so footroom is basically non-existent if the seat was in its proper position. I do have this moved a bit forward so that I would have more space, but the knee room is quite good. Footroom works, and yeah, but the seat, my legs are a bit high up, so this is still really best reserved for children. The seats are surprisingly a bit comfortable because they're soft as well, and they still have the same material as in front, exactly the same. They didn't cheap out with that. And just like the rest of the vehicle, we have 4 USB ports back here, 2 on each side, 1 USB-C, 1 USB-A on each side, and we even have aircon vents on the pillars over here. That's really nice to have. And again, we have that fam cam like I showed you earlier, and the camera is actually over here on the seat. Now we're driving the Jeep Grand Cherokee L, and I must say, with this test drive this week and being my first time to experience this vehicle, that this actually feels a lot like its price, so it actually feels really worth it. So first, let's talk about what's under the hood. So this is powered by a 3.6 liter Pentastar V6 engine, and that produces 282 horsepower and 344 newton meters of torque, paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So no DCTs here. We have a traditional torque converter automatic transmission, and as soon as you get moving, you'll instantly feel how amazing that engine is. So it sounds really good, as you can hear. It sounds, V6 really gives off a very good engine note, and the response as well is really good. So the moment you put your foot on the pedal, put your foot down, it responds instantly, even on just the normal automatic mode. But put it in sport mode, so just use the toggle, and the sport mode really is a sport mode, so that's really nice to have over there. And then when you're not pushing this vehicle too hard, you can feel that is very comfortable. So for one thing, the engine is very quiet and it accelerates really smoothly. Since we have that torque converter transmission, we have a very smooth drive, so it shifts really smoothly. You won't feel any jerks, so that's all good over there. And then when it comes to steering, it's very light. So right now we're making this U-turn, and turning radius is also quite good, so that's decent over there. This vehicle is really large. It doesn't feel that way when you feel the steering. So again, very light, and despite it being very light, we do have a very good amount of feedback as well. So that's something that I really appreciate as well, since most vehicles with very light steering don't provide us enough feedback, but this one feels pretty good. The only thing I have to say is that the really large diameter of the steering wheel does make it feel a bit less engaging to drive, but overall, if you do not consider that, it's actually very, very engaging with how the combination of the engine and the steering feel of this works. I do have to add though that body roll is present, so I was expecting that because this vehicle is a bit high up. I noticed that we're actually about the same height as something like a Ford Ranger, so those are usually really high, and this is about the same height, so that explains why we are experiencing a bit of body roll. That aside, it's all pretty good because we have really good NVH insulation, so road noise is almost non-existent or pretty much non-existent. Vibrations, of course, we don't have any of those, and the ride quality itself is really, really comfortable. So the suspension does a great job of absorbing all the road imperfections, so you will feel them, but they won't hurt you at all. And that good ride quality is also something that we'd come to expect from an SUV like this. And for visibility, we do have very good visibility as well. So the windows, they seem a bit small at first look, but they're actually pretty good in size. And also the windshield, front and rear. And we even have the rear facing camera, which always shows itself here on the rear view mirror. So some vehicles have that now. This is one of those models. And going back to its size, the Grand Cherokee definitely looks big when you look at it, but once you do get moving, yeah, it still feels kind of big compared to other vehicles, especially with the way it rides, the way how high it is on the road. But still, you will easily forget that eventually. So if you're coming from a smaller car, for sure, but if you're coming from other cars with similar size or in the segment, it won't really bother you. So yeah, overall, this is a really good SUV to drive, and it's also extremely comfortable. So whether you're driving or whether you're the passenger with a driver, you will definitely love how this performs. Let us talk about fuel economy. So inside the city, you can achieve as much as 8 kilometers per liter, which is already decent considering it is a V6 engine, and in this day of turbocharged and smaller engines, it's refreshing to have this kind of engine. Although most of the time we will be averaging around 6 kilometers per liter, it's still expected. Then on the highway, you can expect around 11 to 12 kilometers per liter. Nothing fancy, nothing big, but yeah, that's all good for this kind of engine.
At its price, the Jeep Grand Cherokee L seems quite expensive, but given Jeep's premium positioning here in the market, it's no surprise. Regardless, with its premium feel inside and out, good driving dynamics, you can definitely feel your money's worth. Also, the fact that there aren't much on the road yet, you'll stand out in this for sure.